Like, what was it like growing up in Mounty for years?
Mount Druitt's home, like you can ask anyone around here. Most of the stories you hear about Mount Druitt bad, but to us it's good. Like there's nothing bad out here. It's just like home. Yeah, like I can't put more than any words and say it's home. You could take me far away, but I'll end up back in Mt Druitt anyway.
I grew up here. I was born and bred in Mounty. That's why you know what I mean. I'm so used to it. And like being around all the boys, it's like they're my family, you know. Like I feel welcome out here anytime. That's why I come to Mt Druitt.
Somehow we all end up in Wayland, like close, and it was very close to each other. You know what I mean? Like just hop, skip, and jump to each other's houses. So Mt Druitt's like a place of a modern-day corroboree for blackfellas anyway. Like. We made it for what it is, even though we didn't come from a good background or anything. Like some of the boys might have had a father figure in their life, but like I said, most of us didn't. Like most of us just ran off each other. Like it was just learning off each other. So we really didn't have much people to show us right from wrong. We just had our way, you know. In our head, it was right. Our way was right. Yeah, it was our way was the right way all the time. To us, it was good and it was fun. But to other people, it might have been like breaking the law or whatever it was. But like no matter how many years we spent apart or months or you know how many times the boys went to jail, we always come back out. There's that automatic connection already. Like
yeah, it's just home.
So you like pretty much say family. Like, feel like a family out here. Yeah,
of course. More than our own family.
Always.
That's how it always been.
How we got around, like I said, we just wandered the streets, built bike jumps. There was no programs. I can honestly say there was no programs before. When we were kids, like no, the only thing that was set up around here was PCYCs, and they were ran by cops. Yeah. And they already didn't like us. So as kids, we tried to play footy. I don't know if you remember. We used to go have big games. There used to just be big heaps games, and heaps of numbers of boys. And we'll, at the end of it, halfway through, we'll probably get broken up, say move one direction by police, or we only got in trouble because we got bored. Just there's really nothing out here for us as kids.
I got taken by dogs when I was 6 from Wilmot Public, and you know I moving home from like home to home, and then I moved back 2 years ago to a broken home. Wasn't what I expected, moving family to family, and yeah, didn't have much. So, you know, went to Cobham, got charges, caught, that type of stuff. So it's rough, it's hard. Like, it's hard to do right. You don't know what's right when, like, you know, it's hard to explain. For me, there's always something stopping you from doing right, in a way. Like, it's always something, whether it's like, don't have the education, I don't know, like, don't have the paperwork, can't find the paperwork. You know, no, I don't feel like my voice is heard at all, to be honest. Like, there's no support to me, for me. I don't know about anybody else, but for me, there's no support. Like, I pretty much have to beg, like, for something, like, I don't like begging, for me, I don't like asking for help. And, you know, going out getting a job's hard, like, it's not hard, but like...
Not that much support helping you?
Yeah, no support, like, I got no caseworker, like, you know what I mean, I've been through 15 caseworkers in 2 years. Like, you know, like, how does that help a kid? And no support there, just gotta do what you gotta do, I guess.
I was 11 then. That was the first ever time I got arrested. And then after that, they just knew who I was and always pulled me over, like, what's your bail? Do you have any warrants out for your arrest? Have you been to court? I could only have one service, which was like, and it was so shit, like, nothing. And then JJ's wouldn't take me until I got like an actual criminal charge, and like my mum was calling everyone and they couldn't do anything, yeah. No one could help, because you have to be 12 and up.
You know, you have to wait to get a referral, or you have to speak, you know,
for someone to offer it to you and then refer you to it? How do you expect for people to know you're there if you have to wait for a referral or, wait for someone to approach you?
It's kind of hard when, once you turn 18, all the supports, it feels like you just get dumped on the ground again and there's no one to reach out for because there literally isn't really that many supports for people 20 and maybe 18 and over. There's not many supports that are re-engaging and making sure they're not slipping back under.
Turn 18, you look to go back to that same support, but they can't support you because you're 18, you're over, you're not a client anymore. You go back to wherever, jail, then all of a sudden they're back again to help you.
When I get pulled up now, just in general, it's been happening for ages, but every time I get pulled up, even if it's just for an Opal ticket, my whole body just starts shaking, full just shaking. I feel like I'm getting real bad anxiety just because you don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I remember when I was on curfew and that, and the cops just drive past the house with their flashlights on and just sit at the front and turn their cop sirens on just to be cheeky cunts and that all the time.
Just to provoke you. It's I remember they used to...
up on me 3-4 times a night, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and that, when I'm just sitting at home.
It's a race and then last name, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once they see that you're, black, find out your last name, they just try and play 2 and 2 together.
Just walking to school as well. Me and my brother, 8 or 9. Yeah, in primary school basically.
I did start young for years, dude.
Or look at me different, look down at me, you're just a criminal, you and your brothers and that,
Yeah.
That's how they always look at us.
That was just a normal cop.
I was always good going to school and the police were just always coming around. We was asleep before, didn't even knock on the door, they just came straight in, arrested my uncle while I was asleep, bashing my uncle in front of my nan, when I hear my nan crying, that's the main woman in my life and it just hurt me in that,
First time I seen, got not even trouble, I got a train fine at Mt Druitt station and one of the coppers said, I know your dad, and he said, I'll see you again. And then 6 months later, got arrested. And I was I knew I'd see you again.
I don't get scared, but I get scared from coppers. I don't know why, it's just something.
It's the anxious.
Yeah.
I remember one time I was 13, I got strip searched right out here. Just at first it was 2 pulled up and they ring back up. So at the end of it, it was 8 coppers for 2 kids, wow.
Because you're always gonna have that sort of that traumatized feeling, that you're just always gonna get pulled up and questioned about something or they're just gonna snatch you for something, you know what I mean? Just don't trust it, trust them.
When we hit a certain age, I reckon I hit about 15, they started straight up treating us like grown men, did not give a fuck that what how we were, they were chucking us around, just pepper spraying us.
Every time I hit a cop sirens and that, I get sketchy out bad and that,
it's it's
traumatised you and that,
that little fear kicks in.
You actually get scared,
You just know they're coming back anyways, they're always coming back.
I don't know if it's the same feeling for you, but if I'm walking down the alleyway and I see coppers,
I'll run.
I'm dead set, I'm not staying in that alleyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because we know what outcome's gonna be like.
A 14-year-old boy is fighting for his life after being shot by police in Sydney's King's Cross early this morning. Officers opened fire on the teenager's car when it mounted a crowded footpath and hit a bystander. Another young man in the car was also shot by police and remains in intensive care.
Witnesses watched in horror as police dragged the teenagers from the car. Mobile phone video shows police hitting one of the unarmed teens. The young man's body goes limp. He's dragged to the curb, handcuffed and left face down on the pavement. Moments later, relatives arrive at the scene.
They were enraged, they were crying and at the same time raging and they were standing up to dozens and dozens of police officers by themselves.
So think about me, I was 14 when I got shot by coppers. So every time the copper pulled up,
I'm always running, like, no matter what. So all I got going from my head is like dying again and being shot. So every time I think coppers from then on, just traumatized. But that's why I think that was the reason why like I got into stolen cars and done everything, because I was still hating on what they done and because I didn't get justice for it. Within seconds, I've been shot in the arm, shot in the chest. And then the last word I said was like, boys, I got shot with blood in my mouth. And yeah, that was the last time so I died twice, one at the scene and on the operating table. So now that when I woke up, I didn't even know nothing about it until somebody told me and I seen the film clip. And because I can't remember it, it's like still plays with my head, you know what I mean? Because I don't know if you die, you lose memory, but yeah, I don't remember any of it. So I'm thinking that it's still like a dream. But to me, like, yeah, I dream about it. Like I walk, like, if you was in my shoes, then you'd understand like what I go for every day, you know what I mean? When I see police and when I go to jail, all that stuff, so yeah.
I was in and out all the time.
I was 13.
When I honestly, when I got out of that truck, I just felt alone. Like,
You're that little cuz you put on the biggest clothes. And
yeah, that's when you walk in that room, mate, and they tell you take all your clothes off.
Yeah, you feel violated.
100%, cuz like, I don't reckon it didn't hit me until like I went into my cell and I didn't know what to do, cuz I didn't even know how to turn the radio on. I was looking at the buttons like, what the fuck's this? You know what I mean? I looked at the TV like, how do you turn this on?
They don't even explain it,
And then until I had to knock on the door when the lady come back and I was like, how do you turn all this on? And she goes, haven't you been here? And I go, nah.
I was childish. I was just crying around and just like, I don't know. I was stuffed up because like I was missing home. I was homesick and stuff.
You got kids who go in their normal hours and that, and then like
they come out.
They can't handle like being locked up and they get on the drugs and that, like sleepers and that, and they full fucking fry themselves hard. Like they full like change themselves forever.
Yeah.
Like they lost it. Like if I was to go back there now, like I'll feel right, like
I'll fit straight in, you know.
I'll feel comfortable, like I'll feel like I'm home with the boys again.
It's just like walking to another boy's house, you know what I mean?
But like when I first went in, it was a thing. But now I'm comfortable to it. That's I've been in that environment before. I just feel like another place at home.
Yeah.
So it's just.
Which is bad. We shouldn't call it a home, like at home, but that's just how it is, how it feels. Like,
how we grew up.
Yeah.
What kind of things would come off the top of your mind that you'd want to do if there was programs in there?
They just need more of the elders and that to speak to us, you know, like they've had programs, Aboriginal programs and stuff, but like just to do dances and stuff. But we need more in there to like actually talk to the boys, you know, get in their head, like not to come back and all that stuff. You know, have proper talks. So we would actually feel comfortable talking with the elder, you know, one of our elders, not like anyone else. That's like, you know.
And I wasn't getting in trouble, see, so I said boys getting in trouble but getting the support. But it wasn't until they got in trouble till they got the support, you know what I mean? Like where were they before they did that stuff, you know, to help them?
Do you know how much it costs to keep a young person in lockup?
I should know this, but I forgot. I've been asked that 100 times. It's like $1,700 a day.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
What would you do with that kind of money? If you got that paid to you every day.
Put in the question.
Don't ask me that question.
What kind of program would you set up with that kind of money?
And that's just one day. Like,
yeah, every day.
Think of how many days you've actually spent in custody and, you know.
Probably run more programs through schools, to be honest. You know, get approvals to like be able to take kids out on cultural trips, cultural days out, you know, engage, like getting them to engage more in that type of stuff. That's the type of program I would build anyway.
All that money that's spent every day on someone being locked up, I reckon that should go towards even going on a camp, just to show them fellas that there's more things out there, there's more things they can do and experience.
the rest of the boys, bro, got the most talent, but just let it go to waste because of police, you know, and like just always locking them up.
Shitty situations that come up that we couldn't have helped if we tried to, like unfair situations that we took with both hands and ran with it and we just overcoming it.
Like the people that could help us are looking at us wrong, but if they were looking at us right, they could help us out, and that could follow along with a lot of different connections and get all of these kids and stuff that are falling corrupt to the system, get them out of that cycle and get their so-on family members out of that cycle too.
Mount Druitt, like I'll bring stuff in, but I wouldn't change Mount Druitt as it is. Like I'll bring more services, you know what I mean? Like, but Mount Druitt's good how it is, you know what I mean? Like we just need help.
More programs.
Yeah, like we need more stuff for the kids out here.
Like community centres and all that stuff.
Because no one wants to go to a police-run PCYC, so why put all the money in there, you know what I mean? If it was if it was a community-ran one, I guarantee young kids will rock up, feel more safer. Like that. Like, I remember as a kid going to PCYC, I didn't want to go there because he asked me questions about my brothers all the time. Like, I'm not here for you to question my brothers and ask what they are. I'm here just to play the games or work out, you know what I mean? I'll tell you, the only good interaction I've ever had with a copper was the game of footy out here.
Yeah.
My son seen me get arrested once, bro. Like, he didn't see me, he was a baby. I got arrested in front of him once and I never ever want to do that. And when I got taken away in that van that day, bro, like I seen my son, I was like, I could have lost my shit, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, we probably need some more, like some things in that, but we don't need it now. Like we already fucking experienced shit.
yeah, like we
Give it to the younger fellas, you know, we want to see what the younger fellas in that want, so.
Hey, we asked the kids, we went to Wilmot Public School and we asked them what they wanted around, and most of them said Starbucks. So, you know what I mean? Like it's different in ages and different in varies, you know what I mean?
That's what I mean, like it's hard to say like what we want, like we probably want different things to other people, you know? Yeah. So it's like...
And this generation would want different things than what we want.
The next generation probably want different things, you know? So it's just hard to say, like you gotta go interact with them and ask them, like you gotta interact with them. That's how the only way you wanna change things, like interact with them.
Because we're doing it now and we're all keeping out of trouble through OzTag, through this program, through Mounty Yarns.
More things to like get young people off the streets, because you don't really have people asking, are you okay, or are you alright, or what's your life's been like? And like having this in that, like it gets the stress off their head in that, instead of making them go and do crime just to get a bit of stuff off their mind and that.
I reckon if we had programs like this as kids, I'm not saying that all of us would have, you know, been angels, but some of us would have had a better life opportunities, you know what I mean? Like having a youth service program that works outside 9 to 5, you know what I mean? It just, or isn't just there to get a paycheck, and he's there to actually care and work with children.
Anything can happen, like, you know,
yeah, like
change your life within seconds if we had...
I guarantee you half us boys wouldn't have been sitting in a situation and having so much...
instead of just throwing us in juvie.
Yeah, and having heavy burdens on our shoulders from young ages. Like, back in the day, you wouldn't have got none of us here sitting here like this. Like,
no way.
100%, not even one boy would have walked through that door. Like, so obviously we all want to try to help our younger brothers, and hopefully we can give them something to run with, and, you know, just to make the coppers not target them, or help them to understand where we come from, and we're not all just out there being criminals, you know what I mean?
I think the boys need purpose, like need something to strive for, like footy, basketball, like need a passion, like need something they really want.
What do you think, if I said Mounty Yarns now, what do you think it is?
Just sitting around, having a good time, having a laugh, having a convo. I mean, it's a safe place, like talk about anything, like I know, like feeling any type of ways, talk about it, they'll help you, like there's always support there.
Because we're all family, you know, like we all go through the same thing and that, we can all relate to it. And like Mounty Yarns just feels like you can come in and be yourself. You know, you can explain like what your life's like without being laughed at, because you all feel the same as me. And like it just feels good being around positive people as well. Like we all do something that's good, gets my mind off stuff. And like we're all doing something together. Like we can all be ourselves around each other and that, you know, like actually like, you know, express our feelings in it. Like it's good. Like we never really do that, but here we can do whatever we want, yeah.
How does it also make you feel being heard?
it feels good, you know. I don't know, it just feels good. I don't know how to explain it because it's the first time this has ever happened, like, you know, with all of us, you know.
Get shit off your chest,
Can't really explain
eh?
it,
I mean, if we actually listen, you know, it could be a massive change. Mount Druitt could be a lot more, like, you know, not as like a targeted area, you know, looked at as bad, like, you know, so I reckon.
People will understand that we're doing these kind of things for a reason because we don't have them kind of supports that other people do. They can put themselves in our shoes and see how our lives look like.
You know, they might listen to what we have to say and take a better path, you know what I mean?
What do you reckon?
Honestly, nowadays, the game are the same. I'm just sitting reminiscing about back in the days. All of the boys was close, now they're rotting away. Swear to God, I know they think about decisions they made. All I felt was pain the day you went away. And there's nothing I can do, and now I'm feeling the strain. I'm missing the brothers, they're feeling the same. But I bet if they went back, they would do it again.
Every night in the street, we was on a hustle. Trying to make a quick dollar, trying to make a bundle. Coppers on my tail, trying not to fumble. Trying to keep it humble, but they just wanna rumble. Growing up wasn't easy, had a lot on my plate. All these people say they got you, but they all be fake. Talk behind my back like fucking snakes. I keep my circle small, don't care what they say.
Don't care what they say, I'ma stay in my lane. I'ma do my thing, I'ma pave the way. Lots of struggles I've seen in the streets, lots of struggles I've been in the streets. And I hope we defeat, and I hope we succeed. But the police don't want us to eat, they want us to feed, they want us at their feet.
Dealing with the same shit day to day, anxiety and depression, I can never wash the pain away. Only thoughts flowing through my mind is a trauma flooding through my brain. I can't change the past, but I can change the way we deal with hate, deal with fake, deal with anything that gets in the way.
I had time to think when I was locked away. All the calls I made, they had nothing to say. It really messed with my head being behind them gates. Deep thoughts coming in, man, on replay. Watching all my brothers label coming back again. That's so stuck in the system, man, I wish they could change. Or the system could change, it causes so much pain. I was so relieved on my release day.